Andy Kessler, formerly a hedge fund manager, now an author. You're going one step further. Your first books, Andy, were all non-fiction. Now you've come out with a fictional work just on the internet called Gumby. Tell me about that.
Well, I couldn't help myself in writing a novel, and Gumby is nothing more than a future memoir. I mean, it's a memoir I wish I could write about myself.
A future memoir?
Future memoir. About...
You mean a wishful thinking?
Oh, yes, very wishful thinking. About a guy that creates the next greatest thing. It's the next Google, it's the next Facebook. It's a guy that with a partner starts fiddling around with little Furbies to make them jump around for kids, and basically shoves some... I mean, what happens if you take a Furby and you shove a Game Boy up its ass? That's sort of what I'm talking about here. Although
this is a family show.
It is, yes. But of course, all sorts of first wonderful and then bizarre things start to happen. I mean,
What does that mean now? I have to admit that I'm a little naive. What happens when you shove a Game Boy up a Furby's ass?
Yeah, well,
Why do you get the next Facebook?
Well, because you end up with a very intelligent personal assistant. It has 2 eyes, 2 ears. It can speak. It has facial recognition. It has GPS. It has Wi-Fi. It has Bluetooth. And it has spy software. And it has this wise-ass personality. So we all become completely seduced by the powers of this device. It knows everything we do. It records this conversation, so later on I go, now what did he ask me? And so third parties can write apps for it. It teaches kids how to read. It recalls everything that we do. It pulls into our Outlook and reminds us, whether through out loud or through a Bluetooth thing in our ear, you've got this appointment or that appointment. And then, things go haywire. It gets hacked.
So it's a robot, essentially.
Well, it is, but it just sits there and listens. And I mean, to me, it's the next interface. I try to lay out a technology roadmap with this thing. We have iPhones and iPads, and all those things are kind of cool, but they have screens on them. I don't want screens. If I forget who won the World Cup in 1992, 96, whatever it was, I have to go start typing
who won the World Cups in 92 or 96.
There weren't?
No, 96. 94, 98, 2002.
Yeah, that's right. They had them in
so
the
you
office.
need your Grumby to tell you.
I need it, but I can
that.
ask, and then luckily I have my personal Grumby here to tell me those answers. But this little device would say, here's the answer to your trivia question, but more than that. And then it starts thinking, perhaps it starts thinking, because it's crowdsourced. It goes out and it gathers all the information out on the network to answer our questions. And then the bigger question is, are all that information out on the web and in those search engines, are they right or are they wrong?
So this is a digital Frankenstein. We create it and then it controls us. It gets out of control.
Well, it may try to, but in effect, I don't want to give away the ending of my book, but it turns out that the best use of technology is to augment human intelligence. I mean, Doug Engelbart, who created everything that we use, the mouse and network operating systems and everything else, lives next door to me, and he wonderful conversations. We always said it's about augmenting humans. It's not about replacing humans. You wouldn't want a device that's sitting there that is making decisions. You want one that helps you and me augment our lives and augment our decisions. And I think that's the fallacy of all the singularities and the cognitive...
The Ray Kurzweils.
All those crazy things on one end, and on the other end, it answers the shallow questions of all this technology is bad. No, this technology is not bad, but there's a duality. It has some goodness and it has some badness to it. And the better applications, the good UI ones with screens, are the ones that augment us, really help us think. Here is a device with no screen. Get rid of the screen. Screens aren't natural for humans, but talking and listening and doing facial recognition, those things are natural interfaces, and I think that's the future. And it's a very fun book. There's just a bunch of funny stories. You'll laugh, you'll cry,
I think the most shocking thing about the book is it hasn't come out in physical form. You've only put it out on the internet.
Yeah,
right?
well, I only finished writing about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we got
So this is a real-time book, and where can our viewers download it and buy it?
Yeah, it's off of Amazon on the Kindle and iPad, the Kindle version. It'll be hardcovers will be on Amazon in the middle of July and then bookstores in August. But the reason we did it that way is because you get those early adopters. The first group of people that read Grumby are the ones that are going to talk about it and build word of mouth and help sell it on Amazon and in bookstores.
Grumby by Andy Kessler, the next big thing. Thank you.